Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MonoBlueTron. Welcome to the premiere of my new weekly video series, This Week in Duel Links. Now if you tend to get overwhelmed by the 30,000 plus notifications you get every time you load up the app, you have come to the right place if you want to know what events are running, what events are upcoming, how ranked play has changed, and what that means for the metagame. Now if you only want to hear about one of these topics, I'll include timestamps in the description. Let's get started. It is the 1-year anniversary of Duel Links, and as a result, they are giving out a lot of free stuff. Logging on will get you 1,500 gems, a new mat and card back, and a login ticket bonus of SR and UR cards. The 3 packs plus 1 UR deal for boxes from Generation Next on is also available, so get lucky and rip floodgates. Strings is in Duel World. He's only available for 1 victory, but after you beat him, you get the Egyptian god card, Slifer the Sky Dragon. Now, Slifer isn't particularly playable, but he is story relevant, and more importantly, he's a free UR, so he's worth getting excited about. Zane Truesdale is in Duel World as well. Well, more accurately, Dark Zane is in Duel World GX, so rev up your under-leveled bastions and get ready to go to town. Now, his available rewards are a series of largely lackluster Cyber Dragon support cards, but make sure you pick up at least 1 Cyber Repair plant. Now, if Cyber Dragon ever becomes functional, it'll be using a couple copies of that card. Zane functions like most of the previous legendary duelists. He appears only when you've defeated a certain number of duelists, but unlike previous legendary duelists, your ranked games count towards Zane showing up. So there's a pretty compelling reason to play Ranked this month. Now, a secondary reason to brave the horrors of Ranked this month is that current King of Games players will be automatically boosted to the 2nd stage of the KC Cup to be held next month. Now, I'll talk a little bit about this more in the upcoming events section, but just like last time, making COG will make your KC experience much less stressful. Bonus duel reward is on this week as well, so every duel you play will award you an additional 1,000 points to your evaluation, which should make farming Zane a little bit easier, and Experience 1.5 is on, so if you're into power leveling, now is the time to do it. Finally, there is a new box available, Selection Box 01, which will include format staples like Soul Exchange, Sphere Karibo, and Mirror Wall. Great news for players who don't want to burn 600 packs worth of gems on Ultimate Rising. Now, as mentioned seconds ago, it is currently the qualifying period for a free pass to Stage 2 of the KC Cup. Now, if you haven't braved the KC Cup yet, it is a fantastic way for players Stage 6 or higher to earn a chance at the WCS qualifiers. Now, the rules are almost identical to Ranked, except it occurs in 2 short stages instead of all month. For the first stage, you'll be playing in a format similar to Ranked Ladder in order to get all the way to Duel Level 20, and for the second stage, every duelist who has met the maximum Duel Level of 20 will begin to accrue points for wins, which are then scored against regions. After everything is said and done, the top 500 from each region will get an invite to the WCS qualifiers, where they will try to represent their region at the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Tournament. Sometime in the next few weeks, Yugi Moto will come to the gate. He was previously an event-exclusive duelist, so now everyone will have access to both him and the Grandpa's card skill designed to summon Exodia. A tag duel tournament is coming to Duel Links. Now, tag is a 2v2 battle mode, and I'll give you more of an update as to what the rules will be as the event comes nearer, but for now we don't know which rules will be adopted. All we know is that your partner will be Yugi, Kaiba, or Joey, controlled by an AI. And while certainly less exciting, the Duelathon begins January 16th and will offer rewards to duelists for farming roaming duelists and beating legendaries as well. A few days ago, January 9th, the most represented deck at the previous Kaiba Cup, Cyber Angels, received a well-deserved nerf. Its most powerful monster, Cyber Angel Dankini, alongside its previously unlimited ritual spell, Machine Angel Absolute Ritual, have both been semi-limited. Now, for you paper players, this is a much larger hit than it looks like. A deck can only have 2 total cards appearing on the semi-limited list at any one time. Now, this hasn't been an issue previously, since the only semi-limited cards were archetype-specific. This now means Cyber Angel players will now have to be content with 1 copy of their ace monster and 1 copy of each ritual spell, because the other one is limited. Now, this isn't the only change coming to Ranked. On January 24th, multiple skills will be rebalanced based on their previous prevalence in the metagame. I've mocked up a little chart in MS Paint so you can check at a glance what the changes mean. Let's start with the buffs. First, Bastion's quadrio of element-specific skills, each of which plays an elemental field spell, will have their activation conditions changed and will now be activatable when your life points are 3,000 or less instead of 2,000 or less. This affects Firm as the earth, Silent as the water, Quick as the wind, and Mighty as fire. Aster Phoenix's Destiny Calling, which places a Dark City field spell on your side of the field, has similarly had its pain cost reduced to 2,000 from 3,000 as well. Finally, Jaden Yuki's Where the Heroes Dwell, which adds a Skyscraper field spell to your side of the field, will be changed from 2,000 to 3,000 life points. His skill Miracle Fusion Time, which adds a Miracle Fusion spell card from outside of your deck to your hand, will be activatable at 1,000 life points or fewer instead of 500. Next are the changes, and there's only one. Destiny Draw is functionally unchanged, but cards currently are displayed in the order they exist in the deck. This is going to be modified so the cards are easier to find in order to allow players to select their draw more quickly. And finally, the nerfs. First, Restart now has its time limit decreased to 20 seconds, long enough to know if you're going to mulligan, but not so long that your opponent loses their mind. More importantly, if you do choose to restart, your opponent will be shown the cards that you shuffle into your deck, giving your opponent previously unavailable information. Secondly, Middle Age Mechs gives an advantage to the player going second, so instead of functioning as it currently does, Ancient Gear Castle will be activated at the start of your first turn instead of at the beginning of the duel. Now we've entered the big nerfs. Mind Scan, one of the most popular skills for decks that otherwise didn't absolutely need to take advantage of their skill, was well known for its ability to permit Cyber Angel players to play around enemy controller. Now, instead of functioning at the beginning of the duel, you will only be able to see your opponent's cards if you have 3,000 or more life points at the start of the third turn. And finally, the biggest nerf of all, 3-star demotion. Now, this was used for months as a cool way to cheat out enormous monsters, and the skill has finally become overpowered in the last couple of months when combined with ninjas. It's arguably the best deck, and as a result has been massively changed. Instead of allowing the user to pay 3,000 life points to decrease the level of one of the monsters in their hands by 3, it now can only be used once per duel, and only when you have 1,000 or less life points remaining. Now, this stipulation does not apply if you use it to summon a member of the Gate Guardian trio, so good news for all of you Suijin Turbo players out there, and terrible news for Decade. As a final note, Konami has made it abundantly clear that the Woodland Sprite deck that is currently dominating Ranked is on their radar, though they have not announced any ban list changes as of yet. Now, one advantage of a digital product is that they can easily implement a ban list with even less notice than we're given in paper, so I wouldn't be surprised to see either Woodland Sprite or hopefully one of the Bamboo Swords end up on a limited list soon. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Woodland Sprite. Now, this deck comprises a large amount of the Legend ladder. It is notoriously uninteractive, aiming to kill opponents on the first turn by using Woodland Sprite's effect in conjunction with Bamboo Swords and Black Pendant to burn the opponent for 4,000 points of damage. There is counterplay, of course. Floodgate Trap Hole and Enemy Controller are good ways to prevent your opponent from doing it to you, but sometimes you're just not skilled enough to flip the coin your way. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what deck could potentially occupy the second best deck position. Now, the nerfs to Cyber Angel are large, of course, but keep in mind that Duel Links card pool does have access to a lot of tools that search ritual support. While the deck is severely neutered and likely out of contention for the second place title, it is certainly still playable, as demonstrated by this King of Games finish by Reddit user Bodity77. In the interim between now and the 24th, I would position Ninja as the second most powerful deck. Now, without 3-star demotion, I'm kind of unconvinced the deck is playable at all, let alone a tier 1 threat, but as of now, it is nearly unstoppable. Though it was propelled into popularity by a positive Cyber Angel matchup, it can still certainly thrive in a field of, for the most part, less powerful decks. And, for about the 6th month in a row, Red Eye Zombie Dragon is looking good. What it lacks in raw strength, it makes up for in consistency, and it's also got a large amount of flex slots. The list on screen is what I've been playing, but people have found success with Super Rush Headlong, more Battle Traps, Storm, and just general good stuff like Sphere Karibo and Sergeant Electro. It's also not particularly reliant on any one skill. I've been reaching to justify using Bones since I need them leveled, but relying on something that boosts your Gozukis and your Skull Zombies can be surprisingly relevant against a field that includes a lot of Gladiator Beasts. Other playable decks include the aforementioned Gladiator Beasts, Massive Morph, Ancient Gear, and as always, Sacred Phoenix. Now, if you're a new player looking to make the COG climb for the first time, I would highly recommend using Sacred Phoenix. It is both strong enough to reliably reach Legend regardless of the strength of the pilot, and incredibly budget-friendly since 90% of the cards you'll need are from a single small pack, and the rest are format staples that you're going to need anyway. So with all that in mind, here is a completely subjective personal tier list that you may find handy, especially if you've taken a break from playing. So that concludes this week in Duel Links. Let me know if there's anything I missed, anything you're excited for, or what you'd like to see in upcoming weekly recaps.